And welcome back, everybody, to Russellpuff. We are getting ready to rock and roll once again here for Hogwarts Legacy, as we are going to talk to Sirona for a side quest. I know I keep putting off Sebastian, but it's the main quest, and I like to go ahead with knocking out any available side quests just so I don't, worry about messing them up.
Glad you came.
So I'm going to see what Sirona has in store for us today. At least get the quest started and see where it might take us.
Hello, Sirona. I received your owl. How are you?
Hello, my friend. Did you ever find Lodgok?
Yep, I spoke with him.
I did, thank you. We had a good conversation. He sends you his best.
Glad to hear it. I shan't ask for details of your little chat, and I'll refrain from telling you to be careful yet again. But I hope you will be, whatever your plans.
Of course. Your owl mentioned you're needing my help with something?
I do. I thought you might be just the person to do a favor for my friend Dorothy Sprottle in Upper Hogsfield.
I've actually met Mrs. Sprottle. I recently spoke with her about her friend Claire Beaumont.
She's lovely. Her late husband Aidan was a friend of my father's. In fact, I'd stay with Dot and Aidan the summers I waited tables here as a student. I've seen her a few times since Aidan passed, but the pub's been so busy lately, I've not been as attentive as I'd have liked. I wonder if you might pop in and see her. She may need some help collecting ingredients for her supply of Wiggenweld potion. And you could retrieve something of mine in the process. A box, full of old letters and such.
Sure. Why does Miss Sprottle have a Wingwell supply?
Why does Mrs. Sprottle keep a supply of Wiggenweld potion on hand?
Dot's a skilled potioneer. She's been supplying travelling vendors with Wiggenweld potion. An ordinary precaution that has, unfortunately, become a necessity, what with Ranrock's loyalists disrupting the trade routes.
I probably shouldn't pry, but why did you leave that box of letters there?
Why did Mr. and Mrs. Sprottle have your box of letters after all this time?
It's one of a few that I had when I was young. Dot found it when she was clearing out a closet. Can't imagine what's in there. Probably terribly theatrical. The ramblings of a teenage witch and her friends. You're welcome to take a peek inside, if you do find it. To be honest, I'd imagine it contains some lovely memories.
I'll try to go and see her when I can.
It would mean the world to me, and to Dorothy. Aidan was bringing the box of letters to me when he was taken ill. Dot can tell you where he might have dropped it.
Alright.
You'll find the hamlet just north of Hogsmeade. Please do give Dot my love.
Let's go get her box of letters back. This shouldn't take too long, I'd imagine. Simple fetch quests, but again, I don't mind fetch quests because most of the time they've been pretty interesting. If you can make the dialogue and the story interesting.
You're worrying far too much. Nobody's looking at you.
Fetch quests are not that big of a deal. No, this is a little deal.
Novelty socks at that price can't be
I'd rather have
passed up.
no
Be
socks than
thankful
be
you
dark
have
and
some.
Right? Didn't know there'd be a big debate about socks.
Does it get any more cozy than Hogsmeade?
I'm not a big fan of the auto mount. What do you call that?
Accurate.
Not a big fan of that. Because I just have to deal with right there. I'd rather get stuck and then I can just go around it instead of having to be stuck in animation.
Upper Hogsfield. Now where to find Mrs. Sprottle?
Hello.
Nice to see you again, Mrs. Sprottle. Actually, Sirona Ryan asked if I'd come and see you.
Oh, dear Sirona, a gem. Has been for as long as I've known her.
She thought you might need help collecting ingredients for your Wiggenweld potion.
And she's correct. My darling Aidan used to collect hawklumps for me. Since he died, my supply has dwindled.
I'm sorry for your loss, Mrs. Sprottle.
Oh, thank you. Love of my life. A bit lost without him. If you wouldn't mind gathering some hawklumps for me, I'd be happy to compensate you for your time.
Alright, I've got plenty for you.
Believe it or not, I have some with me.
Oh, thank you. How wonderful. The travelling vendors will be thrilled to replenish their stock of Wiggenweld potion.
Sirona also mentioned that Mr. Sprottle was bringing her a box of letters when he fell ill.
Indeed he was. I'd almost forgotten. I stumbled upon it just before Aidan died. He was hoping to go through it with Sirona over a butterbeer or two. Those two were always like two bowtruckles in a branch. Aidan took ill when he was collecting hawk clumps on his way to see her. He made it home, but I fear he dropped the box in the cavern. The cavern is in the hills just southwest of our hamlet. You can gather hawk clumps and collect the box of letters there.
So what was Sirona like when she was my age? Just learn some more stuff.
Sirona said she lived with you during the summers when she was at Hogwarts. What was she like?
Goodness. Well, she was almost exactly like she is now. Charming, good head on her shoulders, taking care of everyone. I can't tell you the fun we had when she and her friends would visit us during the year, all buzzing about, practicing charms. Talented group. Her friend Mirabelle was a genius in the garden. Learned it all from her muggle parents, if you can believe it.
That is Professor Garlick she is talking about there. So her and Sirona were best friends.
Do you remember anything about the letters you put in the box?
Oh, of course. A few letters from some of her school friends. Some nice memories. I even included a letter Sirona had written to me when she was staying with us. Thought she might enjoy reading it. I know when I read writing from my youth, I'm always astonished at how much I've changed, and yet remain the same.
Yeah, I can attest to that myself.
Thank you, Mrs. Sprottle.
Thank you. I'll be here if you are able to collect those hawk clumps. I, and the vendors I help, would greatly appreciate it.
All right,
Let's have a look around. See about the hawk clumps and the box of letters. Incendio! That's all the hawk clumps for now. Mrs. Sprottle should be pleased.
There are fish in here. Whoa, this is interesting. It's like an old prison. What's up here? Got some bats.
Accio!
I'm just letting you guys know right now that I am expecting spiders in here, so don't think I'm gonna get jump scared that easily.
Either
it's
I'll
a
have to
troll.
fight that troll, or avoid it altogether.
We're about to fight it now.
Expelliarmus! Incendio! Arresto momentum. Depulso.
Oh man.
Defendo. Confringo.
I wonder if I can.
Expelliarmus. Arresto momentum. Levioso. Incendio.
Darn.
Expelliarmus. Incendio. Accio. Arresto momentum. Confringo. Defendo. Depulso.
man.
Defender. Confringo.
Oh my gosh.
Capulso. Defender. Arresto Valente. Protego. Confringo.
There we go. That was pretty cool.
Capulso. Defender.
Got him.
Rest easy, my large friend.
Ugh, troll bogies. What's up here? Nothing. Nothing that we can go to at least. Neither can we go. Oh, we can't go up here. Why would the box of letters be taken out here? We're getting plenty of pork lumps, at least. Why are squirrels down here? Doesn't seem to be the place for you guys. Oh, we can read some of these. Okay, I want to read them. Dearest Serona, when I arrived here, I had a troubling sense that in many ways I wasn't like the other first years. I confess I worried that Hogwarts might not have been the proper place for me, and pondered sitting in the hours with my parents, asking them to fetch me almost before the first week of classes had ended. How did you know? I presume you're not secretly a gentleman's, but I wonder that you seem to know my thoughts better than I did myself. That day in the Three Broomsticks, when you spotted me huddled in a corner, staring blankly at an untouched butterbeer and an empty bit of parchment, my quilt dripping ink woefully onto the floor, and you came to sit with me, well, I shall never forget it. She is very detailed. She should think about being an author. I recall a sudden sense of relief, as if someone had cast a levitation charm on me. When you told me about how nervous you'd been to come to Hogwarts, I looked at you, and it seemed beyond my imagination to think of you as anything but the confident, contented witch sitting before me. In the days that followed, I marveled at how you charmed in the non-magical sense. I mean, everyone around you, without apology, embracing who you were and who they were. It was as though a candle had flickered on for me. I realized that I could choose a path as well. That path. Now that my school years are ending, the frightened first year witch I had been seems worlds away. And I know it's because you saw yourself in that despairing creature in the corner of the pub and so generously extended yourself to her. Yours sincerely, Maribel. P.S. Please tell Mrs. Sproudle that I plan on visiting her and Mr. Sproudle whenever I can for a very delightful conversation. I am unashamed to admit her incomparable cauldron cakes. Whew, that was a word full, a page full. That was several inches of parchment. Oh, this is a very short one. Dear Serona, I conjured this wee gift for you as a token of my gratitude. If you hadn't stood your ground on my behalf during Quidditch practice last week, I might have left the team altogether. And now we've won the Quidditch Cup. Ravenclaw House would not be the same without you. Yours sincerely, Sean. So Serona was a Ravenclaw. I assume. At least the person she helped was. This is a bit of a lengthy one. Dear Serona, I've sent a note separately to dear Mr. and Mrs. Sproudle for their hospitality, but felt the need to put quill to parchment with my thanks to you as well. What a lovely respite from the castle. I won't soon forget how we giggled about that ridiculous gnome. Did he truly believe that he was singing? And Mrs. Sproudle's steak and kidney pie was simply glorious. I shall be dreaming of it for days. I so appreciate you including me. I fear I must warn you, however, that this does not mean I will go easy on you in next week's match. You know that Ravenclaw is no match for all Slytherin this year. Most gratefully yours, Philomena. So, yeah, she was a Ravenclaw, and she was on the Quidditch team. Interesting.
This must be Serona's box of letters.
Couple more letters, guys. Dear Serona, happy birthday, my darling friend. I sneaked into the kitchens and asked Finky to make your favorite cream crawdie She was delighted to oblige. Not sure where she got raspberries at this time of year. Genius that Finky. Bess.
I should take this box of letters to Serona. She'll
Dear
be glad
Miss-
to have it back.
Dear Mrs. Sprotle, Mother and Father were delighted to hear that you and I had spent the afternoon at Glad Rags last Saturday. Truth be told, I think my mother was ever so slightly envious. I shan't soon forget how heartily we laughed at my efforts to lace the bow ties of my new dress. A challenge indeed, as is the rather delicate practice of properly situating a hat pin without wounding either my hat or my head. But I adore everything that we selected, and I have you to thank for now, feeling like a marvelously fashionable witch. It was also a treat to dine at the Three Broomsticks without having to clear the tables. I shall own a place like that one day, mark my words. I consider myself more than lucky that you and Mr. Sprotle agreed to let me stay. I know that my parents feel precisely the same way. Yours gracefully, Serona. That was a lot
I
of
think
words.
That's everything. Serona will be glad to have this back.
That was a lot of words. But like I said, this is what I like about these type of, like, if you're going to have fetch quests, make them interesting, and they're pretty interesting. We found out that Serona is a Ravenclaw, and that she was best friends with Professor Garlick. Oh, hello.
I'll fix him, that charm grinder.
Sir, is everything all right?
How kind of you to ask. The name's Ackley Barnes, and no, it is not. I'm plotting a sort of revenge against my ex-business partner, a conniving fiend by the name of Alfred Lawley. He cut me out of our herbology supply business just as we were getting started. Said I was too volatile to work with. I'll show him volatile.
Alright, well that sounds really frustrating for you.
That must have been frustrating for you.
Yes, it was. Terribly. I'm simply passionate about my work. Supercilious fool. He's passionate about things too, as I intend to remind him by relieving him of his prized possession. A venomous tentacula he's grown from a seedling that was to be the keystone of our business venture. I can't get anywhere near it with Ruth Singer watching me like an augury. Lawley's doing, no doubt. But no one would suspect a student. How would you feel about committing some grand plant larceny?
Let's learn some more information first before I even consider it. Oh, you can actually get out of it, it seems like.
You said Mr. Lawley was your ex-business partner. What were you working on?
I had an idea to train venomous tentacula, create guard plants, if you will, that attacked when ordered. We hit a snag when one ate Lawley's Kneasel. After that, he cut me out of the business, the short-sighted fiend.
Okay. Well, now that makes me think Ackley is a bit of a jerk.
Why do you need Mr. Lawley's venomous tentacula in particular?
Simple. If I have it, then Lawley doesn't. Ergo, I can launch my business, and he must start all over again. I'm killing two snidgets with one stone.
Oh, I don't even like that little saying.
What else is in Mr. Lawley's cellar?
All of Lawley's herbology supplies. He has quite the collection. Fill your pockets while you're there. Or to slow him down for a bit. And I can get my business going minus any competition.
Yeah, I'm not comfortable with this, dude.
I'm not sure this is something a student should be doing on your behalf.
Oh, it's nothing. And he deserves it. Trust me. He'll be in and out of there in no time.
I don't like it. The plant ate his Kneasel. I'd be pretty mad about that if I was that dude, and I'd be like, nah, we're not doing this anymore.
Very well. I'll see what I can do.
What?
Excellent.
I didn't say that.
I shall be right here. All I ask is that you bring me the venomous tentacular.
I didn't say that.
Remember, I just need that venomous tentacular.
I told him I'll find another way.
Accio! Mr. Barnes will only get in trouble going down this path. I need to find another way to get him a venomous tentacular.
Maybe I can just give him a different one.
I saw what you did! I have no tolerance for thieves! Hand them back!
Hand what back, sir? We've not took a thing.
Hand them back!
There's nothing to give, sir. It was only the one. That's all of them, sir. Honestly, I swear.
How many times are you pair going to keep pilfering my shop?
I swear it was just those ones, sir.
Promise, sir. We'd never take more than those.
I tell you this, they'll not appreciate your antics in Azkaban. You just wait till I see your mother.
That was a bit harsh.
Oh, that was nice.
Revelio.
Alright, where is Sirona? Right over here.
Hello, Sirona. I have good news. I was able to provide your friend Mrs. Sprottle with some hawk clumps for her Wiggenweld potion, and I found your box of letters.
Oh, thank you. I knew you were the one to ask.
Yes, let's ask.
I wondered about some of the letters in the box.
Of course. It appears most of the letters were from fellow students.
Yeah, so is Mirabelle Professor Garlic?
I saw a letter from someone named Mirabelle. Is that Professor Garlic?
It is. Still one of my dearest friends. I know she wouldn't mind you having seen that letter. She and I are of a similar mind, especially when it comes to young people. We believe experience to be an invaluable teacher. To borrow a phrase from Mirabelle, it's a joy to see anyone blossom, but particularly one who doubted they ever would.
Were you on the Quidditch team?
One of the letters mentions Quidditch practice. Did you play?
I did. Was the Ravenclaw Seeker for 3 years. Oh, Merlin's beard. I adore Quidditch. Nothing like the feeling of catching the golden snitch when your team's down by 140 points. I'll never forgive Professor Black for cancelling it this year. I missed cheering for Ravenclaw.
We would get along just fine for the Quidditch. Don't know about a Hufflepuff versus Ravenclaw match, so that would be fun. Or, well, ask about Mrs. Sprottle.
I spotted a letter from you to Mrs. Sprottle. You two seem to have a lot of fun together.
We do. She taught me so much during my summers with her and Aidan. I shall be the first to admit that adolescents aren't always the easiest to understand. And not everyone was as kind to me as the Sprottles. But the depth of their kindness, and that of so many of my friends, got me through, well, got me through some challenging times, to put it mildly.
Well, happy to help.
I'm glad I could be of help. Mrs. Sprottle sends her best.
Don't know what I'd have done without her and Aidan. Thank you, again, for helping her, and for returning this box of letters. It's nice to reflect on good memories.
Got some stuff for the common room. Or not common room, the room requirement. Alright, let's go up here and see if I can just give this guy... Do I have one? Oh, I don't have any. We'll deal with that guy later. I know everyone wants to go ahead and get towards Sebastian. I am ready to get to Sebastian myself. So let's go and see Sebastian now. What the heck? Oh, this place is cool. Let's make sure I get a waypoint set, because this was really far to fly out to.
Not sure how I'd fare in a little place like this.
You call this little? This is This looks like it's bigger than Hogsmeade. At least the area is. And like this big castle over here. Wow.
You made it.
Bet I did.
Enjoying the view?
Keeping an eye on things. Feldcroft isn't what it used to be. No one has felt safe here since Ranrock's loyalists took a peculiar interest in that castle over there. Rookwood Castle. My uncle Solomon is a former Auror and refuses to look into it, even after Anne was cursed by one of them. Possibly with a wand, no less.
I heard a goblin refer to wizard kind as wand carriers. Are goblins forbidden from carrying wands?
Precisely. That's why I'm on the hunt for answers. If I'm to cure her, I need to understand what happened to her. Anne was always the most mischievous of the three of us. Which is saying something, knowing me and Ominous. I'm hoping a surprise visit from me and a new friend from Hogwarts will help lift her spirits. Bring back the Anne I used to know. Come on, I'll take you to my uncle's. This way.
All right.
Feldcroft used to be a lot livelier. With Ranrock's lot wandering about all the time, everyone stays out of sight. Here we are. My sister should be just inside.
Let's go.
Aha! Sebastian, where did you... Is that what I think it is?
We've been over this, boy. Hey. Shrivelfigs cannot reverse a curse. Nothing can. The sooner you accept that reality, the better.
But we haven't tried everything.
There is no cure! When will you accept that?
Never. I can never accept it.
Now look what you've done.
I'm sorry.
Leave.
I'm sorry you had to see that. If you don't mind, I just need a moment alone.
Poor Sebastian. Not the visit he'd hoped for.
His robes are messed up. Can a Shrivelfig reverse a robe? I'm sorry. Wrong time to be making jokes, but this is very intriguing, as my character will say commonly. I might need a screenshot of that later.
That boy will fray my last nerve.
Hello, Solomon.
Excuse me, Mr. Sallow.
Oh, yes, Sebastian's friend. I apologize on behalf of my nephew. He doesn't know when to stop. He thinks he can help Anne, but nothing can be done for her.
Surely there's something.
It could be that you've not yet discovered the cure.
Ah, you sound like Sebastian, thinking you know better than the healers at St. Mungo's.
Perhaps the healers don't know everything, sir. Sebastian is single-mindedly focused on finding a way to help his sister. If there is a cure, he will find it.
Your faith in Sebastian is misplaced. Some sort of dark magic cursed Anne, and the goblins aren't likely to explain themselves anytime soon. Giving her hope is cruel. The only thing to do now is keep Anne comfortable and stay out of the Loyalists' way.
Yeah, I'm a big believer in hope.
With all due respect, sir, hope could keep Anne's spirits up.
You may mean well, but I know what's best for Anne and Sebastian. They are my stubborn brother's children. Especially Sebastian. If you really want to be of help, you'll make sure Sebastian does what he should do, not what he wants to do. He's no idea the harm he could do if he doesn't stop. I hope you remember what I've said. Good day.
Sounds like someone who's given up, and that's pretty sad. Can we speak to Anne now? I'd like to know more about the
Sorry
curse.
about earlier. Those bouts of pain are difficult to bear.
Are you all right, Anne? I didn't mean to intrude.
You didn't, truly. And I'm all right. The pain from this curse comes in bouts, and often suddenly. It's not anyone's fault. It's nice to meet you, by the way. You must be the new 5th year Sebastian told me about.
I am. Sebastian and I met during a rather lively duel in Defense Against the Dark Arts.
Oh, dear Professor Hecat. She's a powerful witch. And she knows how to keep students like my brother, and me, in line.
I do miss Hogwarts, but I wouldn't mind being in Feldcroft, really, if it wasn't so dreary now. Between the goblins at the castle and my uncle fighting with Sebastian whenever he's home, it's not the cozy retreat it once was.
Sebastian mentioned something about your uncle being an ex-Auror, but refusing to go after Ranrock's loyalists. I must say, I wasn't prepared for him to be as angry as he was.
Uncle Solomon is frustrated by what happened to me, and by Sebastian for thinking he can fix it. They both mean well, I know they do, but my uncle is right. This curse cannot be undone. I can feel it. Sebastian cannot take away my pain. Perhaps you can help him to understand that.
Ah. See, this is where I want a neutral option. I'm not ready to commit to one or the other. But, you know, her saying Sebastian cannot take away my pain kind of brings up that previous memory we saw with the professor that can do ancient magic. I can't remember his name right now. He tells Isadora, you know, it's not her father's pain to take away. But this is, I feel like, a little bit different. I don't know. All I can say is I can try at this point.
I'll do my best. I can promise to speak with him about it.
Thank you. His search for a cure is futile, I'm afraid. I'm getting tired. I should probably rest. Thank you for stopping by. I wish you well.
I ought to see how Sebastian's faring.
There's a note here. Dear Anne, Hogwarts isn't the same without you. Well, a sharp is still as foul, but you know what I mean. Hope you're feeling better, Sebastian. Sebastian, this is my potion kit, not yours. Leave my things be. Huh. Yeah, I don't know. This is gonna be interesting to say the least.
Why will he not listen to me? She's my sister.
How are you doing, Sebastian?
You got a first-hand glance at what I'm dealing with. I apologize for my uncle.
Man, so many tough things to sit here and think about. I don't believe in giving up myself. I feel like just sitting and waiting, you know, while that may be your choice, stopping others, I don't think that's just, I don't know. It's just kind of my thinking. I'm gonna have to side with Sebastian on this one, I believe.
I'll admit, I wasn't expecting him to be so angry.
He's always angry. He's been angry since my parents died. After Anne was hurt, he only grew worse. It's as though he blames me somehow, always calling me my father's son, as if that's an insult. I'm the one trying to help her. He's simply given up.
Both Anne and your uncle seem genuinely convinced that nothing more can be done for her.
I refuse to believe that. Anne's pain is more than physical. It has changed her entirely. I miss my sister. And I'm going to get her back. Come with me. I need to show you where it happened. Ranrock's loyalists are capable of so much more than people realize. They should not be underestimated. All the debris you'll see is from whatever's going on at that abandoned estate. They've been digging for something. Up there, on that plateau, is where they cursed Anne. This way.
How much longer are we expected to dig through this rubble? Ranrock knows what he's doing. It's an honor to be a part of it. Only good wizard.
Levioso.
Wizard in my
Ambush, huh?
Expelliarmus.
Wizard kind will submit to us once the war is over.
Or Sebastian likes to react. He's not going to.
Incendio. Expelliarmus.
Oh, I love that.
Protego.
Oh, shoot.
Incendio. Levioso. Confringo. Defendo.
Oh! He's just separated. Fair
What's
play.
the point of this exactly?
Confringo.
You've made your last mistake.
Oh, bring it on.
I'll bury you in the deepest vault.
Depulso. Arresto momentum. Confringo.
Ha! We did Confringo together.
You will regret coming here.
Defendo. Confringo.
I won't.
Depulso.
How nice of you. This thing.
Depulso.
Confringo.
Protego.
I can't win.
Arresto momentum. Defendo. Depulso.
I love this combat.
Levioso.
Not
Levioso.
return me to the ground at once.
Accio.
A miss.
Incendio. Levioso.
Dang, these guys just keep coming in. They don't stop coming.
I confess, that was a bit more than I'd bargained for. I tried to warn you.
Oh, don't worry. It was nothing. For the most part.
Those loyalists deserved what they got.
Couldn't agree more. This is where it happened. We smelled smoke in the middle of the night. When we looked outside, flames were shooting from the estate. Before my uncle and I could stop her, Anne rushed out, racing towards the fire, worried someone had been hurt. She came face to face with a horde of goblins, frantically trying to stamp out the flames. Suddenly, an icy voice drifted out from somewhere in the smoke. Children should be seen and not heard. A blinding blast followed. They didn't even give her a chance to run.
It seems an awfully violent response to a child wandering by. What were they trying to hide?
My thoughts exactly. It may be grasping at Billywigs, but I keep thinking that there might be something here that could lead me to whoever cursed Anne. Might be the only way to learn what type of magic harmed her, which could help me find a cure.
Perhaps you're right. The Loyalists are everywhere, but they do seem to be spending a lot of time here, and it's likely they're hiding something.
And at Rookwood Castle. Shall we have a look around?
Look how it's called Rookwood Castle.
They seem to have set up camp here for a specific reason. They have stations for everything.
Yeah, interesting. It's called Rookwood Castle. Like, I'm sure it's got something to do with Victor Rookwood.
Whose home was this?
Bit abandoned long since I've lived here. Rumor was a Hogwarts professor lived here once, centuries ago. But that's all I ever heard.
Augustus Rookwood? Wait, is that his name? The one, the portrait with Rackham? That's what I'm betting. Oh, I'll admit it's not much of a bet. Pretty sure of a bet, really. Wait a minute. This kind of looks familiar, doesn't it, guys? This is from the memory from the restricted section. The founders were standing up there. Isadora, her brother and her father, they lived right here. This is their well. And that's the land. Feldcroft was made right here with all the water and such. Ooh, this is cool.
Revelio.
Did we find anything else? Portrait. Yeah, I thought this portrait was interesting.
Sebastian, over here. Do you think that this was damaged by the fire the night that Anne was cursed?
Could be. But it looks to me as though this was intentional.
I swear we should be able to break this. There's a basement thing down there. How did we get in? See, it looks like that's supposed to break open, but I can't get it to break open. Okay, now it wants to show me something.
Accio. Expelliarmus. Levioso. Incendio. Expelliarmus. Defindo. Arresto Momentum. Confringo. Depulso.
It should be breaking. I don't know why. Do I have a different spell? Like maybe Flipendo? Something's not right, guys.
Revelio. This well looks familiar. Sebastian, I've seen this before. This house, the well, the view.
What do you mean? When?
Give me a moment. I'll explain in a second.
See? I was telling you. Also, by the way, I was doing that over here, and it didn't really do anything for me, so, never mind.
Sebastian, this house did belong to a Hogwarts professor. Hundreds of years ago.
Who? What do you...
I found a pensive that day in the restricted section with a memory that showed this house. There was a little girl and a drought. The keepers have shown me other memories as well. The girl became a Hogwarts professor. Her name was Isadora Morganach. She was one of the keepers.
The keepers? Like in Quidditch? And you found a pensive in the library? I'm not following you.
I realize it's a lot to take in. I'm not even sure I understand it all yet. And no, not like Quidditch. They call themselves keepers because they're protecting some type of knowledge. It has to do with the vault at Gringotts.
Let me see if I've got this straight. You have Ranrock and Rookwood after you because of something you found at Gringotts where you ended up via a portkey. You can see traces of an ancient magic that you think Ranrock is trying to harness. And now you've been witnessing memories left by keepers. Oh, and this house belonged to a Hogwarts professor who was one of these non-Quidditch keepers hundreds of years ago. If I didn't know you, I'd think you were pulling my leg.
It is all a bit much, isn't it, when you put it like that? The point is, we both have good reason to search this house. You for answers about what happened to Anne, and me for answers about the keepers.
Look at this.
Someone piled this here for a reason.
Oh,
Is it
now we
blocking
can mess
something?
with it.
Only one way to find out.
Descendo! Confringo!
Huh, a stairwell. Why bother blocking a stairwell?
There might be something here worth a closer look.
They've left all of this simply strewn about. Tells me they're after something bigger.
Where is he? That music. Whoa, this place is... Oh, he's already down here. Isidore Morganach, journal entry 1 of 7. Guys, we're going to have to end this episode here because we've kind of run over our time here a little bit. Oh, there's
Lumos.
that here. Alright guys, seriously, we're going to end this episode here. I'm sorry, I know this is getting good, but the time... I'm sorry, I can't really go over an hour. I'm afraid of what will happen in editing. So, thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed. I promise you we'll get back. We'll be definitely doing something really cool here. So, thanks for watching, guys. I will see you in the next episode. And in the meantime, mischief managed.